What's going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the supposed second mixtape by Lil Durk. Basically, this product is called I'm Still a Hitta, and it came out in the spring of 2012. So the thing about this particular product here is this came out on the heels of the first product by Lil Durk, which was I'm a Hitta, as far as this pitch can have an excellent type fare, just a product of like the Chief Keef sound that was particularly popping in like 2011, 2012, some of those type pitches. Now it's not as full bound that Lil Durk is Chief Keef slime, but he's definitely within the same packaging as that particular format. Folks like Fredo Santana, Lil Reese, G Herbo, some of those type folks. Chief Keef obviously within some of those particular type fares, but a lot of this Chicago drill is kind of popping within that particular time. It's a good aspect for that. This is back in the prime era of Datpiff as far as those fares kind of went. This is another stock mixtape. Now this one's a little bit before Lil Durk full bound kind of caught on. I mean, there's a buzz single on here at least, which is some pretty excellent type appeal within the aspect, and there are some relative commercial type ones. It basically builds upon the template of like Flockavelli by Waka Flocka, some of those type ones. Just more kind of amidst like Street Soldier type territory, and just more kind of amidst like Street Soldier type territory, and more of like street albums and mixtapes kind of being more factory kind of promoted to the pitch of having more commercial aspects about it. So it's basically like getting like a Jeezy album from like the Trap or Die days back in those particular pitches, and just like that more kind of this going to be more thug life type cuts within the pitch behind it without terribly much commercial appeal. Now there is a couple songs like I was saying, some songs like Eater, Right Here, and like Jack Boy, some of those particular type ones that have some relative type aspects. There are a few good hooks on here as far as this pitch can happen, but yeah, the thing about this particular, I'm not going to give this a high score. I recommend every song on here, so this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10 as far as this pitch can happen. Just a blistering type one, just primary Datpiff, like I said how many times with some of these products here. This is another blistering type one within those pitches, just that same sort of format. If you fell in love with products by Waka Flocka, like Flockavelli and the Salute Me or Shoot Me series, some of those type pitches, folks like Slim Duncan, folks like Chief Keef, folks like Lil Reese, folks like Meek Mill, some of these type folks, Rick Ross from Rich Forever Days, French Montana's Mixtape, some of those particular type fares, other folks like that, trying to think of a few other ones, like Yo Gotti and like Woo Da Kid, some of those type folks, Kibo Gotti, some of those type folks, just amidst the pitches. But I mean, this concept about this product is a little bit more just amidst like the format of just down on the low as far as this pitch can have, not quite as full bound. I feel like the pitch behind it is just building like the territory as far as getting towards those aspects that have like some jump through as far as this pitch kind of went. But this is not a bad product, like I said. It's just the product of just saying that this is more amidst like the typical kind of rugged type living, this is the typical kind of roughneck type batch of things as far as this pitch can happen, just everyday type of feel. It's just the aspect of not really much kind of difference. Like the public relations factor is not really on this particular product, just with an aspect behind it. It kind of had like initially with some particular type fares back in like 2010, 2011 is amidst like the product as far as saying that the particular type fare about it was going to be this more Flockavelli type stuff, and you know, Chief Keef's finally rich some of those type fares as like drill and trap started to embrace it and get to album type formats with getting amalgamated with that as far as this fair is going to happen. But that movement kind of eventually got beleaguered later, but it did develop into 2010s trap and like the Instagram type movement, some of those type pitches. But it's just kind of the format that back in these particular days, this is really not that drill heavy a product. Once again, I continue to think that Lil Durk was kind of more of like a drill type rapper, but even on some of his most early products, I did not really see that format of him doing songs like I Am Not a Star by Rick Ross and Hard in the Paint by Waka Flocka, some of those type ones within some of those type pitches, just that particular format. You know, MC Hammer by Rick Ross, some of those type fares. I look after here, I was expecting this particular product to be filled with those, but it doesn't really have a ton of dance venue type joints on here. It's not really as much the glitz and glamour of like things, just more amidst like the product, just like the night outs, just not as much full bound designating it to like Taco Bell runs and gas station runs, but just kind of amidst the product of either vehicle centric type, just out and about, just like neighborhood jaunts and activities as far as those fares can happen, or just within the aspect as far as saying that just smoking with pals and this that smoking around with pals, and just the aspect of that of those particular fairs as far as those aspects would kind of go in like an urban sense. So it's just within the pitch, but not really as much like a full bound kind of just get tore up and just blitz out your mind. There's not a ton of house party type songs on here really to that full bound extent. It's just more amidst like the living of it and the lifestyles of just like, I mean, I feel like it's not really makeshift either. It's not so much amidst the, like there's a couple ones on here like I would say like Right Here, some of those type ones, Jack Boy, like I was saying, some of these particular type pitches, I'd say maybe famous within certain aspects, just kind of the product of just like the relative kind of this, if you do have like a standard kind of work at Popeyes type job, some pitch like that, some of those type places, you know, Popeyes, Taco Bell, some of those type places, of just having like the feel good type vehicle aspect of just being in your vehicle and figuring out getting to flip mode as far as what's first going to happen. Just probably 5:45, 6:45 pitches, about as the dusk type mood is kind of setting in. It's more red skies from the pitch, but it just has that particular fare. So yeah, there was at least one particular buzz single out this product, which is L's Anthem. It's a real nice one here. This sets off the tone for this particular product as far as the fare is going to happen. Now, it's surprising that he went with this one. I don't think he wanted to get too commercial. I don't think Lil Durk wanted to get too commercial as early on as far as this pitch can happen. It does have like the commotion about it, and this is a pretty blitzing type product in terms of like the quick living type times, but it's more just amidst like the lifestyle more so than the pitch, like the full bound kind of enamor of just like the glamour of it, just within the pitch, as far as this pitch can go. But L's Anthem at least does that within a relative sense. This feels like something Waka Flocka would have done on like one of his buzz. This feels like something Waka Flocka would have done on like a buzz type single, something Chief Keef would have done with like a Young Chop beat, some of those type fares. It's like amidst the night prowl kind of wake up noise. Just woke up 7:30, 8 p.m. pitches like that, smoking nice. I would definitely say here it's a real good, just a feel good kind of late ambience kind of get within those products of it. So just the kind of pitch as far as something that just feels like. I mean, I do feel like some of these songs have the relative aspect of kind of house party type appeal, but it doesn't designate it as full boundness within the pitch as far as those fares going to happen. Just kind of the product of just like typical kind of just lifestyle, just like the Flockavelli type movement, Datpiff mixtape type movement. Just if you know more than 20 or 35 or 55 type mixtapes from like the Datpiff era between like the late 2000s to about 2015 or just even the 2010s as far as those fares going to happen, just amidst like that particular product, that this is just like cake for that particular aspect, just consistent kind of further goodies within some of those particular type styles. So it's this good type pitch for that. This feels like something that like, folks like Yo Gotti, some of those type folks would have done in particular. Waka Flocka, Slim Duncan, some of those type folks, Gucci Mane within those pitches. But only real single off here. If I had to choose some other type ones, I probably would have said that Jack Boy would have been a real nice one. Right Here would have been a pretty nice one. I'd probably say Wild Niggas would have been a pretty nice one. I'd say Famous within a relative, I'd say Famous and Bounce would have been some nice ones. Bounce would have been especially kind of, this one, Bounce was kind of a primer to like the mid-2010s trap type movement of more vehicle knock pitches like that, just some stunt type and pull-up type music, I'd say within the pitch was just kind of the product as far as saying, this kind of aspect as far as those fares going to happen just within the tone behind it. Eater is a pretty good promo type single within a pitch as well. So yeah, just to say, recommend every song in here. So this mixtape is a 10 out of 10. Easy enough to kind of say that. Just another blistering type one. This primary Datpiff, like I said. So one of the best beats on this particular mixtape is Wild Niggas. It's like a blitzing kind of nightclub craziness to kind of get here. Just riled up, definitely wide awake. Like a good riled up song, definitely wide awake. I'd say time free as far as this pitch can happen. It's not one that's preoccupied or just not in a busybody type sense, but actually having time to designate just in the fair as far as saying just, pals going to get crunk, some of those type movements within the pitch behind it, just having some of those particular type fares of just not having preoccupied type moments within the pitch behind it. Time free pitches like that, good stunt flash to kind of get out this particular song. So it's one of the few dance club type moments on here as far as this pitch can happen, just more dance oriented, just within the aspect, just a little bit more social pizzazz within some of that type format. I mean, the recreation on here is not as full bound. He did start to loosen up a little bit more, maybe not so much on Life Ain't No Joke, the next project that came out, which I reviewed recently, but just kind of within the pitch as far as saying, actually, I don't know if I reviewed Life Ain't No Joke, but I don't know if this particular product is going to premiere before that one. Is kind of the pitch. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. I've reviewed a couple Lil Durk projects as far as this fair is going to happen, but this one might actually come out sooner. But we'll get to that as far as this fair is going to happen just within the pitch. But yeah, Wild Niggas, real nice dance club type song within the pitch. Social venue type commotion. There's not a ton of these on here. Jack Boys is a pretty quality one as well. This like an early Jack Boys is a pretty quality one as well. It's like an early 2010s trap swag tune to kind of get here. Just catchy hook, I would definitely say about this one. Good buzz single, I would definitely feel like in dance energy as far as those first gonna have. So just within the pitch as far as saying good 1-2 punch with some of these type ones. There's some decent social commotion on here within the pitch behind. It's just more amidst the product of just like the standard dap as far as those first gonna happen. Just with like the aspect of just like the commotion kind of about it. It doesn't have to be within the pitch like house party kind of red cup type fair or dance venue type noise, but just the pitch of just like the motions of just whether you're meeting folks at just like a gas station or pitches like that. Some of those standard type fairs just at parks and places like that, just standard commotion, just other places, just it's more like the standard routine type spots. It's more kind of the product of this, hey, I'm catching up with you here, not so much just has to be at some sort of get crunk or dance kind of commotion within those pitches. But it's just kind of the product just like that typical kind of continued type fare, just other spots, whether it is like Walmart, gas stations, some of those type places, or just CD stores, some of those type fares you'd have to say within the pitch. But it's a good type product. So Bounce is a pretty nice one within those aspects, as well as like an oozing kind of hella vehicle knock, pull up commotion kind of get within these tones about it. Just good buzz song on had to feel like here. Just choice, good buzz song choice here to kind of feel like within some of those aspects. And this has some definite kind of traps. This particular song has some definite kind of trap snarls as far as those first kind of So it's just within the pitch as far as saying it's one of those type ones that feels a little bit ahead of the times, especially for 2012. Not too many terribly much commotion was kind of going on. Just the blend of the conduit going from like early 2010s kind of more drill and kind of like folks like Gucci Mane, Yo Gotti, some of those type folks, Future within those pitches, switching to like the sounds, just kind of an early primer. Lil Durk was kind of a conduit for that as far as those pitches kind of happen. Some of those type moments between Chief Keef and some of those type folks that were kind of just advanced in like the mixtape type sound, kind of a primer for just like centerpieces of trap as far as those pitches kind of happen, getting it to more of like the IG eras, some of that particular type fare. Tend to be that particular type aspect. Right here is a nice one. It's like a relative kind of pop trap radio appeal. I'd have to say about this one, just some makeshift dredge. I'd feel like here, just Flockavelli and like some task wrap up as far as this pitch kind of. So just the product of this, whether it is late tasks of like 6:45, some of those type fares, just getting stuff relatively wrapped up. The rest of the bills paid, some of those type fares. So just kind of the concept, but just got done with work. 4:45, 5:15, some of those type pitches. Just kind of the product of switching to like the mode of like, all right, time to get like a box of beer, call up some folks, figure out what's going to happen within the aspects as far as those particular tones going to happen. Learn that has some nice appeal about it, as well as like a demonic kind of prowl in like the late era. I'd feel like here, just stock kind of militant and kind of airtight hustle. This is like some stock kind of militant, kind of airtight hustle as far as this pitch going to happen. Just good song to move right as far as this pitch going to happen. So it's just kind of within the tone, the standard street soldier type conduct within the pitch behind it. Just really, Lil Durk has the Flockavelli type sound and pitches like that. Some of those type folks, street soldiers within some of those type folks, Yo Gotti, Meek Mill, some of these type folks that just were consistently putting out like the Datpiff era type sounds within those pitches of just like standard trap music, and just some of that particular type fare to a T. It's just kind of the aspect. A lot of these just had that particular just carnivorousness, just an aspect. These are just ones that just continue this particular sound. I mean, there's not like a superb kind of, vast kind of difference from songs like Learn That from L's Anthem and some of those type ones, Famous, some of these type ones, Off the Shit, some of these type ones in particular. But it's just kind of the product of like some gothic type ones that just have the aspect of just like that consistent mode. So it's just kind of a good type pitch. It's kind of, I mean, that's the thing. When you look up this product, there might be like a mild learning curve just depending upon how designated it is. If you're expecting like the commercial type songs and ones that are going to be recognizable, like, oh, you've heard these millions of times, I wouldn't say it's full bound. I definitely would say some of these type ones, like I said, the immediate ones that kind of have like the most kind of radio appeal would be songs like Right Here, L's Anthem, the single, Jack Boy's a pretty nice one, Wild Niggas is a pretty nice dance venue type song, and I'd probably say some other type ones like Eater are some nice ones within the pitch, because that had a remix to it. Just songs like some of those type ones to kind of get the initial commotion, but it's just kind of, some of these might bleed into each other as far as this pitch kind of happen. Just is not as full bound being distinct just because the product of it. Lil Durk was kind of in his early days, but these are just, just take it in like the stride of just recognizing that this is like good further type music, like Flockavelli type moments and pitches like that. Some of those just Datpiff eras. Eater is a quality one. Now, this was also on Life Ain't No Joke from the fall of 2012, just within the pitches behind it as far as what's first going to happen, just within the aspects there. The remix had Soulja Boy on there, but this is a good song like its original format as well. It's like some trap noise, loud pack, I'd have to say, just demon tongue commotion about this particular one. Good mixtape buzz single I'd have to feel like about here, and just some militant push about some of these type ones. So this is just the factory, same sort of factory type sound and militant type sound that Chief Keef would kind of have with songs like 300 and some of those type ones, and like I Don't Like, some of those type pitches that just feel like Young Chop kind of productions. Now, the thing about it is, like, Lil Durk, at least on the mixtape download that I grabbed, has like Lil Durk on the mixtape version that I grabbed has like @ signs, which is that, like the email @ like Lil Durk has like @ signs like @gmail.com, some of those type pitches with all the folks that he fuck with. So some of these type folks were like just to be able to say like Paris Bueller and like Young Chop. So Young Chop from Chief Keef lore produced some of this particular type fare, this particular product. There's just some good moments on here for some of those type pitches, but it's just good type product, just that consistent kind of Chicago drill as far as this pitch kind of goes. So good type product. Don't know if I talked about intro, but this is a nice one. It's like a blurry kind of quick times, just amidst like the late wind, I'd say, just regular drifting within the pitch behind it, just kind of some bustle drive, I'd say, like so much of this particular product. Pretty factory within the pitch. Just get to the product, the money, the pitches like that, just the aspect of getting getting tasks done and just making, it's the product of being on the drive, getting to the grind, and just making things happen as far as those pitches can happen. It's pretty gothic type one within those pitches. So just factory within the pitch behind it, just that same consistent, it's kind of just more of like slime type music, I would feel like within the tone. Not to say slime like he doesn't have the commercial appeal, but just within these products, this is just real excellent kind of street soldier type music, just within the fair, just consistent kind of Datpiff living as if it's more an everyday type format. This is not where you're only listening to Datpiff mixtapes like once every 2 months or once, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times a year, but actually the product is like everyday type fair within the aspect of just, having that immersedness within that product. And that's definitely some excellent type fair to be able to do that. It's a good, excellent type pitch. But My Niggas Don't Change is a nice one, as well as like a leery kind of gothic trap commotion kind of get here. Just typical Traverse fun, I'd have to say, and just some factory raps as far as this pitch can go. So yeah, it's just typical kind of Traverse fun, I'd say, about My Niggas Don't. Yeah, I'd say My Niggas Don't Change is just typical kind of Traverse fun, just with the pitch behind it, just out and about in like the afternoon or late evening type win. It's out and about in like the late afternoon kind of evening win as far as this pitch can happen. Just the product of just getting like boxes of beer, figuring out where things are kind of going. Just the pitch of just like the conduit type moments of just figuring out how things are going to happen within the pitch behind it. Just kind of some of those type moments, lacing things out, getting the commotion going as far as this pitch can happen. Just kind of typical, just amidst like the night air and some of that type fare. I'd say, I'm Bout It's a quality one, as well as like a frenetic kind of evening heat, things popping off, I'd have to say, within some of those type pitches. Good tone for that. 3-6 Mafia like within the pitch, some of that typical type commotion. Juicy J, Project Pat, DJ Paul, some of those particular type folks would kind of do. Just 3-6 Mafia like drama within the pitch behind it. Just more frenetic, just kind of biting within the aspect. There's another one that's kind of like that as well. I feel like I'd say kind of rock out is like that as well as some of these type pitches within the tone. But yeah, I would say I'm About It's just within the pitch as far as those fairs gonna happen within that. Just very litty type song. Off the Shits is a nice one, as well as like a stock kind of Demon Time Wake Up. I'd say just Another Day in Paradise within some of those type aspects. Just trap music kind of air and run as far as those pitches kind of happen. So yeah, Off the Shits is just typical kind of Chief Keef type fare within the pitch behind it. Just Another Day in Paradise, like I was saying, just typical kind of air and run, some of that particular type fare, just out and about within the aspect of just like haunting kind of evening wind within some of those type fares within it. Good commerce type ones, not as much homies bound like I would say like My Niggas Don't Change, some of those type pitches, but just in the product like that typical kind of fare, just standard kind of just typical commerce within the pitch behind it, like a trap and mixtape type sense. It has a little bit of commotion about it. So Off the Shits has a little bit of commercialness about it within the tone, not as full bound where it's designated towards it, but just kind of the product of just like some things where it's not necessarily like just like it's not necessarily as much full bound within that. It has the concept of wedging in like some errands within the fare behind it, getting cell phone bills paid, some of those type pitches within the tone. So it's a good type aspect. Famous is a quality one as well as like a stock kind of late shift brooding to kind of get within those aspects. This relative embrace from like the usuals, I'd have to say, within the pitch behind it. Good excitement, good song to grab goodies to. It's like some good excitement, good song to grab goodies to as far as those fairs going to happen. It's kind of the product of just like some frustrating kind of slag, I'd have to say, about Famous. It's kind of the concept of just like that makeshift kind of fatigue of like the pitch behind it. Kind of like a relative, I mean, this is another close one to like the relative commercial type aspect behind it. Not as much full bound, but kind of more Hustlers makeshift to just that, of just like that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m. frustration, some of those type fares within it. Good song to grab some goodies, figure out, get some swishers, lighters, some of those type pitches, get like, a few Coors is just pitches like that, I'd say. Good type tone. I'd say I Get Paid is a quality one, as well as like a paced kind of night breeze kind of get within these aspects. Is some speedy kind of cruise around good, just quick times for some of those type of aspects. Blurred Out, kind of Get Crunk, and some homies dive as far as this pitch kind of goes. This is a good one. Good combination with My Niggas Don't Change. It's kind of the product of like some good recreational type fare, just like the aspect of like the commotion of disc. I mean, it's less kind of homebound pitches like that, just a little bit more amidst like errand runs, or just like the product of disc out and about with pals and like the commotion of being caught up amidst like the day and evening as far as those fairs can happen. So it's just kind of the product, whether it is just picking up like, getting some ganja, some pitches like that, or just the product of getting like some, not to recommend ganja if it's not legal within the pitch, but just the product just saying, getting like some drink type fare, getting like figuring out where things are going to happen, getting some bells in the nearbys as far as those pitch can happen. So it's just within the tone as far as getting towards that. There's a good type pitch. I think the only one left I haven't talked about on here would be possibly Rock Out. This like a late shift craze kind of get within these aspects. This typical kind of preoccupied evening, I had to say, just amidst like some commotion, just amidst the product of it. This is kind of more kind of on like missions. This is kind of more street soldier, just kind of amidst like the product of like night commerce within the pitch behind it. Just some productive outs as far as those first kind of happens. So it's just within the pitch as far as saying, just kind of caught up in like the motions, just kind of got some tasks to take care of. I mean, within the product of the song, it talks more within the rugged type fare, like the roughneck type appeal, like the product of the, lifestyles within the pitch behind, but it's just kind of the fare as far as staying. It's just kind of using this particular fare, just being able to say if it is just kind of the commotions of just getting some last tests kind of done, just kind of more back and forth within the pitch, and just more quick times that just have things a little bit more frenetic and just kind of just more jarred within the pitch as far as this first can happen. Just kind of more. It's kind of more jarred and wide awake, just getting some stuff done as far as this pitch can happen. So it's good type tone for that. So yeah, this mixtape, like I said, gets a 10 out of 10 just from the pitch behind it. So the social score I'll probably give probably like a 9.75 within the pitch. I mean, the aspect behind it, it does have some commercial type moments on here as far as this pitch can happen. I've listed some of these type ones that have like the immediate factor of what to aim for. It's kind of within the pitch that this was still kind of being melded within the pitch as far as the aspect of kind of getting towards the product of, like Lil Durk just yet did not quite have like the massive type hits and like the street soldier type appeal when you think Waka Flocka with what he did in 2010 with songs like No Hands and Grove Street Party and Hard in the Paint and some of those type ones. He was definitely getting towards those products of being able to pump out those type ones and getting that particular style, those particular type fashions similar to that. Folks like Dream Chasers and Flockavelli and the Salute Me or Shoot Me series, some of those type pitches. Gucci Mane with like his Gucci Mane with like the return of Mr. Zone 6, some of those type pitches within the aspect behind this within those particular type fares. But it's just kind of the product. I mean, there's some good moments on here. He's a pretty good hook artist. He has that auto-tune type format for some of these type appeals. Jack Boy right here. I'd say Wild Nigga, some of these type ones. Eater, some of these type ones has some relative aspects of just having the particular type tone, having like some good commercial type noise within a relative type sense, but it doesn't break through enough to be able to have the aspect where these are going to be recognizable much past like relative. Not necessarily full bound kind of hardcore type sense, but you do have to kind of seek it out a little bit more compared. I feel like Lil Durk has like some good commercial type moments in nowadays times, but going back, digging deeper into some of his older catalog, it gets kind of just not necessarily sketchier in terms of quality, but just kind of more here and there. So look after this good type pitch, but it does have some moments that at least attempt is just kind of within appeal. So I'd say, I don't remember what I said. I think I said 9.75, but maybe it was 9.5. I'll just say 9.75 just within the pitch. But in terms of the future, like Lil Durk is currently serving a prison sentence, pitches like that. He did put out a 2025 album, some of those type pitches, so some excellent type fare. Just getting into some of these. Like I said, I have another Lil Durk review that's on the way. I don't know if this one will get posted before that one, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying some excellent type fare. Classic here, easy enough to say. Datpiff classic, recommend every single song on here. Just vicious type appeal. Primary Datpiff and simple enough to recommend, just common sense to fuck with this.